lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party.
Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. It is Saturday, late afternoon. Football games are just finishing, and wow, what a result there seems to be going on with Hibernian. I would just double check this. Good evening and welcome. Fine, quite a few people online already. Bringing their A game tomorrow. We'll wipe the floor with them 4-0. We spoke about that this morning. We'll speak about it again at some point. But we're just going to see the results. Are they coming in this afternoon? And I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I can't wait for it actually. But there's a result that is really interesting in the SPFL today. Hibernian were drawn 1-1. It looks like St Johnstone had just scored against Ross County also late on in the game. So it's took Hibernian off the bottom of the table, which is good. And the two favourites that I want to go, if this happens at the end of the season, I should start putting on bets, doing the lottery. Because it's been my wish for a couple of weeks now to have Hearts and Kilmarnock down at the bottom of the table that it's actually happening. Hibernian have got their finger at their proverbial jacksie, and Hibernian are winning 2-1, which takes them up to 9th position in the table, which leaves Hearts and Kilmarnock down in 11th and 12th position, which is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Stephen Johnson, hope you're okay. Tony's in the house, Tam Mack's in the house, Rebel 67 in the house. He's going for 4-0 tomorrow. I'm not sure what this. It's either going to be a tight. I think the game's going to be tighter than what we expect tomorrow. I really do. Glasgow Boy TV, he's going for 3-0. And Brian X is going for 4-0. Wilson QW is in the house. Rebel 67, Stephen Johnson, Tony Carley's in the house. And Little Gamer's in the house. Good evening to everyone. Craig Young's in the house also. Catholic Rebels in the house. And AJSC Tech is in the house. Never mind about the game tomorrow. We need to make sure that Hearts and Kilmarnock, that they have been, if they both go down, oh my God, it will be the best season ever. If Celtic manage to do the treble, and I'm taking Hearts for automatic drop. I can't see them turning it around. I mean, they have won a couple of games at the last 5, and Kilmarnock are just rank rotten. But if those two go down, oh, what a season it'll be. And if Aberdeen can maintain second position in the league, Celtic do the trip. This is if Christmas, if Carlsberg does Christmas and end of season parties, may it be that Celtic win the league, Aberdeen come second, Rangers come third, fourth, fifth. But the icing on the cake would be Kilmarnock and Hearts both to go down. And I want both of them to go down because it is two teams that have reduced the allocation for Celtic. I think one of the shock results for me today was Dundee United is currently getting beat 4-2 by Dundee United getting beat 4-2 by Motherwell. I mean, that's a bit of a shock result. St Johnstone have just St Johnstone and St Mirren is now 2-2. Seems a lot of the games are just getting into action with just minutes to go, which is that's an interesting one. It does put St Mirren above. They were above Hibernian anyway. So yeah, St Johnstone creeping up. Hibernian on goal difference are in 8th position. That just shows the table for me. I've spoken about it many a time. I think that the SPFL does need to expand the table. I think that the 12-team format is done and dusted. And people will say, oh, but it makes for good football. I don't think it makes for good football. I think that there's a lot of other teams within the Scottish Football League that you could bring in and make the SPFL bigger so that we don't have to go through the nonsense of having to play each other 4 times a season. Before we start talking about Celtic tomorrow, and the Hibernian Ross County game is on the 87th minute with me. Hibernian still winning 2-1, and that's good because you've got a little derby coming up, and hopefully, because Hibs are usually rank rotten when it comes to the derby, it is away to Hearts. Can they do anything? Hibs have got a couple of games coming up. If you look at the 21st, they play Aberdeen, away to Aberdeen, and then away to Hearts. I think Aberdeen, you're going to take Aberdeen to win that game. But then the one on Boxing Day, hopefully Hibernian can find something in it just to keep themselves above Hearts. Because Hearts will be looking at it and saying, well, that's 6 points that Hibs could drop. If we can win, it will put Hibs back down into bottom place. Been rattling the beads all day. Talking to the big man, says Carly. Oh, Jesus, the Earth will collapse when it comes to 3-1 Celtic. I think it's my birthday tomorrow. Ewan Boy Martin's birthday tomorrow. So he's hoping for a perfect birthday gift from Celtic. And they're just... You can never tell when games are going to end now because there's that much extra time added on to games. Shut that door. 4-3. Oh, Dundee United. +90 minutes. Dundee United Motherwell game. Don't tell me that'll end 4-4, because then that's just going to shoot each other in the foot. I wonder how young Lennon Miller did in that game. I'm just checking out that. I need to come off that. I went on the wrong screen. I'll go back onto this one. Nope. 8 to 9 minutes it's saying in the Hibernian game now. 2-2 St Johnstone. Anyway, that's enough about the league. When you look at it, tomorrow, the midfield. Let's talk about the midfield tomorrow as we're waiting on those results coming in. And then we can get the full-time results. Let's jump into the comment section. Totally agree, guys. Expand the SPFL to 16 at 18 and retain the split. I wouldn't retain the split, mate. I think the split is what lets the league down. I really do. I think that the split is amateurish. I think that the split is amateurish and it costs clubs. From a financial point of view, I don't like the split because it can cost clubs hundreds of thousands of pounds in league finishing money. When a club finishes 6, everyone's targeting 6th position. I don't care what you say. They might not say it in public, but when you look at the league, you can guarantee that Hearts, Kilmarnock, Ross County, St Johnstone, Hibs, and St Mirren, Dundee, and Dundee United are all targeting 6th position. They know that they're not going to finish 3rd. They're not going to finish 2nd. They've got a chance, maybe 4th on a good season. But every other club in Scotland, you've got about 8 teams will be targeting 5th and 6th position because they know as soon as they finish 5th or 6th position in the league, they're safe, and the amount of prize money that they win is fixed. That's it. They know. They know with 5 games remaining how much prize money they're going to win from the SPFL, which I think it's wrong. It is wrong because you've got another 6 teams below them. And sometimes you can get 3 of those teams finishing on more points than the 6th position team, which means that there's 3 teams that are getting financially impeded, and it's a penalty. Say the only way it's cheating. It's financial cheating, if you ask me. They're financially getting cheated out of money in broad daylight, and I think that it needs to stop because all these teams, they've got one ambition, is to just play safe and finish in that middle part of the league. They don't want to get relegated. They'll fight to make sure they don't get relegated, but the target is to finish 5th or 6th in the league, and then that way they know that they're financially safe. With the 5 remaining games, if the team, there's every chance with 5 remaining games, a team that finishes, well, not when you look at the gap between the 6th place and the 12th, but sometimes, you know, if results were to go the right way, a team that finished 6th with 6 games to go could be down in a relegation battle. You know, and I think that's what would make it more important. It would make it more appetising. I think that the split it makes the Scottish game look absolutely terrible. Hibernian on 90 plus 2 minutes. 90 plus 2 minutes. I'm just going to try this. SPFL. Full-time in Motherwell. Full-time in Motherwell and Dundee United. Motherwell 4, Dundee United 3. That must have been a good game. Good game with lots of goals in it. I wonder how Lennon Miller did. I'm sure we'll find out in the next 24 hours, or the next few hours when we look into it. 9 minutes at extra time for the St Johnstone game. 9 minutes at extra time. That's crazy, isn't it? 9 minutes of extra time. It's absolutely bonkers. I mean, this is all VAR's fault, isn't it? I mean, it is. I mean, was there that much VAR decisions in the St Johnstone St Mirren game? Fantastic game up in Perth, 2-2. Still waiting on the Hibs game. 10 minutes extra time now played in the St Johnstone game. Oh, they played for 100 minutes. Jeez, are they just going to play until maybe until St Johnstone score or St Mirren score? Who knows? But anyway, Hibernian are 4 minutes into extra time. Looks like they started a little bit later than the other teams. And Hibernian 1, Ross County. Hibernian 2, Ross County 1. Let's jump back into the comments. Probably lost a stone in weight, Carly, have you? Got a funny feeling they'll score a snifter first goal and then we'll score 3, says Jamesy boy. I'm going into the game confident as usual. Good omen for us, says Rebel 67. There you go. A lot of people saying hail to Stephen Johnson. Let's just jump back over and see if it's full time yet. Nope. It is still going with the St Johnstone game. Still going with the St Johnstone. 3. Oh my God, St Mirren. I knew this was going. What did I say just a couple of minutes ago? They're waiting for a team to score and St Mirren have just scored 11 minutes into extra time. 11 minutes into extra time. I bet he blows the whistle now. I bet you the St Johnstone will be saying, fucking Glasgow refs. Unbelievable. St Mirren get a late win at 11 minutes into extra time and St Mirren have just scored. Will that be enough? Will St Johnstone go right up the park and score in their own ground? Oh my goodness, man. What a result. What did I say? They're waiting for one of the teams to score and then bang on 11 minutes into the game and that's it. Done and dusted. It's still not full time yet. I'll just go... Jump on the land of Twitter because that tends to be a little bit earlier. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was a penalty. A penalty in the 90th minute. Penalty be retaken. Penalty saved. Penalty retaken. St Mirren had a penalty. Oh my goodness. What is going on in that game? That's absolute madness. Penalties given. Penalty retaken. O'Hara penalty saved. The penalty used to be retaken. Jesus. It's all kicking off in the land of Scottish football. 12 minutes into extra time. 12 minutes. They're just going to keep on playing that game. Come back tomorrow and turn onto the telly and there's a bunch of skeletons where the St Johnstone fans, the whole 10 of them are sitting. Oh my goodness, what's that done to the league? Let's jump onto the SPFL table. That changed that any? And SPFL table, it always takes ages to update, doesn't it? The SPFL table. I better just go on to Google. Six minutes into extra time with the Hibs game. That's it done. St Mirren, no, they're still playing. St Mirren game is still playing. Jesus. Dundee United Motherwell game is finished, and that means that Motherwell overtake Dundee United. It's a shame because those two teams have kind of let themselves down, especially Motherwell, because Motherwell could have been pushing Rangers for that third spot a couple of weeks ago, but losing 3 games in a row is kind of what's paid price to them. Putting any real kind of pressure. I mean, they're on 25 points, Motherwell. They could have been above Rangers quite easily. They could have been, if they would have to win their the 3 games, but Rangers obviously drawn. But anyway, it is what it is. Who cares? 13 minutes. 13 minutes extra time in the St Johnstone St Mirren game. That is just completely bonkers. Ref thinks it's a Celtic game he's refereeing. I think he does. It's absolutely. Remember when games finished at 5:45? Yep, we're now sitting at 5 past. If Celtic bring the intensity tomorrow of the Atalanta and the Leipzig game, it'll be a roaster. It'll be Eurostar to Brussels by 9 p.m. tomorrow. Yep. St Mirren won 3-2. That is it. It's full time. It is full time. And St Mirren have won 3-2. The Hibernian game is still going. So there you go. St Mirren have won the game 3-2. That must have been something else, that. And you've got to ask. I mean, the whole VAR thing is just nonsense now, isn't it? I mean, for all the good that it does for the game, extending games the way that it does is just unbelievable. You never know how much extra time you're going to be given. The Hibs game is still on the go. That is 3-1 to Hibernian. That is 3-1. They have just scored to make it 4 minutes into extra time, and Hibernian scored to make it 3-1 to Hibs Ross County. So that gives them a little bit of leeway when it comes to the table. Keeps them in 15th. Keeps them in 8th position. A goal difference of -8 against Ross County. Ross County were obviously hoping to try and jump above Hibernian today, but instead there's 9 minutes extra time played in that game. And it's funny because I'm going to look at the stats, because I like to look at the stats for the Celtic game and just put this into perspective. Hibernian had 18 shots on target today, and Celtic, oh Jesus, and Hibernian had 18 shots in total. They had 6 on target. The possession was 60%. It kind of sounds like a Celtic game, doesn't it? They had 400 passes, but the pass accuracy was 79%. It isn't too far off what Celtic get. They're usually up around about the 90% mark. 7 fouls, 7 corners. We're just waiting on the Hibernian Ross County. Let's see if we've just got to the land of Twitter, because that tends to be first. Oh, no. Is it finished? Not yet. According to Twitter either. 11 minutes now. 11 minutes. This is crazy. It is crazy. And do you know the funny thing is we go 11 minutes into the end of this, into extra time. How many people do you see leaving football matches with 10 and 15 minutes to go? You know, they're missing 25 minutes of football. And I think that anybody that leaves football early to go and get their car or whatever is just a complete and utter, it's madness. Utter madness. Especially when you see 11 minutes of extra time being added to the game today. Well, it was 13 minutes in the St Johnstone game. So yeah, I think anybody that leaves football early needs their head looked at. I mean, you pay to go and watch the game. You know, and this sneaking out 15 minutes to go just to get the car to disappear up the road. It's like, well, what's the point? You know, there's probably somebody that's wanting that seat that would sit there right to the end. Come on, Hibs, is this game going to be done or what? They're still going. 11 minutes into extra time. 11 minutes into extra time. There's no chance of Ross County coming back now. I mean, Ross County could have tried to go for the draw, but Hibernian scored late into extra time in the first half, and then they had a penalty in the second half, and then they scored just to give them that little bit of space to make sure the points were staying in Edinburgh. And Ross County got beat 3-1. Anyway, that's enough of that. The scores, I think we can safely give the results now. Safely give the results now. It's Hibernian and the Scottish SPFL today. The Scottish scores were Hibernian 3, Ross County 1, Motherwell 4, Dundee United 3, St Johnstone 2, St Mirren 3. And that concludes today's SPFL games in the Scottish Football League. And it's all eyes are on the big game tomorrow. Yes, Kilmarnock Hearts, my buzz, man. At least I'll give us some light entertainment. Yes, Kilmarnock do take on Hearts tomorrow, and that will give us some light entertainment before the big game. Yes. No, that's not what I want. I'm just going to see what time that game kicks off, actually. Why have they got a league game kicking off the exact same time as the cup final? That's just... What's wrong with Scottish football? It's totally sold out to... It's nuts. Absolute... But see, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it starts half an hour before. Scottish football, right? We're talking about expanding the league. We're talking about expanding the league. And when you look at the games tomorrow, there's only 2 games on in Scotland tomorrow, right? There's a league game. Now, any other season, this might be a top table. And when it was probably put in for the TV companies, they're thinking, and it's 2 teams that are possibly going to be battling for 3rd, 4th spot, but they're not. It's 2 teams. It's two teams that are battling relegation, and to have them kicking off half an hour before a cup final in Scotland, when there's only 2 games tomorrow, is ridiculous. And the powers that be in Scottish football have to have a real good look at themselves. There was a good case for a showcase of Scottish football tomorrow on the telly. And I think that, having that game on, Celtic fans are not going to watch it because they'll be watching the warm-up for the Glasgow Derby. So it takes, from a Scottish, I want Hearts to go down. I do. I really, I mean that. Hearts to go down would just make my season. But the fact that game kicks off at 3 o'clock and then the cup final kicks off at 3:30. Why? And it's just for TV, and it's a cock-up. It is a complete cock-up because nobody in Scotland, will be watching Hearts Kilmarnock game tomorrow. Nobody. Not when it's on at the same time as the cup final. So it's a massive opportunity missed by the powers that be that run Scottish football. And this is the reason that I think that SPFL should be extended, because that is just an absolute farce. Anyway, let's jump back into the comments section and see what we are saying about it. Because the SFA are fannies. Craig, you're right. The SFA are complete fuds, man. If we win the cup tomorrow, we'll have overtook their fake trophy haul, says Carly. Yes. We will have, Craig Boy says, 50 Shades of Glasgow. Reach out your hand, but what? Oh, Jesus. Celtic could go into the break 3-0 down and still win 6. There's Brian. There's absolutely no way will Celtic concede 3 goals tomorrow. Not a chance. We've only scored Man City and Man United at the same time. Yeah, I know, Wilson QW. We get slim pickings, and when you've got a game like that on in England, Scottish football needs to have a good look at itself. It needs a good look at itself. We win the time we win the treble will be in no doubt then. Yes. This time tomorrow, hopefully we're in a little bit of delirium. I thought that we were one behind, but definitely no. We're on the same trophy haul. We are on the same trophy haul. Carly says Celtic better not bottle it, get into them. I don't think Celtic will bottle it. This Celtic team's far too good. And the fact that the Sevco manager, the Rangers manager, is bemoaning lack of money and using lack of money as an excuse. He is using lack of money as an excuse on to not be closer to Celtic. Now, I think if you think back to any manager, even think back to Tony Mowbray, could you imagine what the fans... Tony Mowbray was sacked because he was crap, but I don't think that any Celtic manager has ever came out and said, we're not good enough, we're not close enough to them. And I think that he does. If we win 5 titles, does that make us the most successful club in the world? Well, not in the world, but yeah, it would. It will. All the Huns that are fighting amongst themselves that night. It was glorious. They'll be fighting amongst themselves tomorrow. Anyway, there is a big fear factor for the game tomorrow. Let's get on to the game tomorrow. There is a big fear factor within the powers of be of Scottish football. If you remember back to the Celtic Aberdeen game at the semi-final, yes, the game that was delayed for 15 minutes due to a strange phenomenon of no wind. Yes, no wind. No wind at Hampden. And when the Green Brigade decided, and the Green Brigade and the boys, I don't know who it was, decided to let off a pyro display at that game that engulfed the stadium in smoke. And the referee said, I'm not starting the game until the smoke clears. So that led to a 15-minute delay. There is a big fear factor tomorrow within the powers that be of Scottish football, that having both Celtic and Rangers at the same game, that there's going to be one. It's going to be see who could outdo each other when it comes to the pyro side of the game. Now, there will be the usual searches going into the game tomorrow, but those pesky little ultras have their means and ways, and they'll do their utmost to get pyro sneaked into the game. So if the game is delayed, if the game is delayed, it could be a little bit of an embarrassment to Scottish football, having a cup final delayed, and it'll be all for everyone to see on television due to the fact that there's excess pyro. And I do think that, I don't know for certain, but when you look at the history of it, and especially the game, they will want to outdo each other. You know that, and I just hope that the Celtic pyro is better than theirs. And let's hope that they have a fantastic display. Brendan Rodgers has spoke about it, saying, look, we don't need pyro, we bring enough flags, colour and songs that do a lot more for the game than pyro does. But anyway, who cares? Who cares? I'm just reading a message. Michael can say, sorry I've not been here for a while, Pazza Boy. Me and Ellie have been really not well. I hope you're okay. Keep up the great work, he says. I hope you're okay, mate. Hope Ellie's okay also. I hope the brother's okay. Paul McGuire says, hello everyone, enjoy your Saturday night. I'll see you tomorrow for the final. Come on, you boys in green. The Ultras will hide their sticks up there to make it pyro spectacular, says Mark. It is what it is. Scottish football, I'm not getting into the conversation because let's get down to business, says Perry. Yeah. How are Spurs in that league? Unbelievable. Spurs got beaten again. I haven't even looked at the English Premiership. That's not today. Let's see the score table. I never look at the English league. Spurs are down in 12th position. It's 12th position. Ange has only won one game at the last 5. Oh well, that's enough of that. Anyway, let me see if there's any more Celtic headlines out there. James McFadden says that if Luke McCowan wasn't cup tied for the game tomorrow, that he'd be in with a great chance of starting, but he is going with Bernardo, Hatate and McGregor in the midfield. I think that's a midfield that we can all see starting, actually. Bernardo, Hatate and McGregor. I don't think Arne Engels will get the shout due to his little bit of inexperience, and let's face it, Paulo Bernardo, ultimately, it was Adam Ida that scored the goal in the final back in May, but it was a goal that was made by Paulo Bernardo, and that won't be forgotten by Brendan Rodgers. It won't be forgotten that it was Paulo Bernardo that kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck in the second half. It was a game that in the first half was kind of a bit lacklustre. It was nobody really stood out, but when Paulo Bernardo came on in the second half, he took the game by the scruff of the neck, and he definitely forced his way through that midfield of the old Rangers, if you know what I mean, because they seem to go through a change every summer or every season, and it's a rebuild. Luke McCowan is unfortunately cup tied for the game tomorrow. He would be in with a shout. He will be watching from the stands. He will be with the team at the hotel. egging the boys on, and he will be in the stand tomorrow watching the players play. Will he be at the hotel team, or will he just? Nah, I'm surely they'll take. All the players will go to the hotel, won't they, for a cup final? Maybe not. Maybe just the boys who are going to play. Yeah. Interesting one. But anyway, James McFadden says that he reckons that will be the 3 that play. Brendan Rodgers says, we know it's a cup final. We don't have to up the game anymore. It's a trophy that we didn't win last season. We've had a brilliant season up to now. He said, Brendan Rodgers, in his interview yesterday, it would be great to have something tangible to show for it and to show for the great effort that we've had, not only in the league, but in the Champions League this season. The fact that Celtic are sitting on the biggest points tally in the Champions League that we've had for a long time, and the fact that we've played so damn well in the SPFL. This is a cup game, and anything can happen in cup games. But after the semi-final, where we absolutely destroyed, I don't think that anybody's seen, and Aberdeen definitely did not see that performance coming out of Celtic. It's a performance that when Celtic did beat Aberdeen in the semi-final, and Aberdeen have completely lost their way since then. Completely lost their way. When you look at the Premiership and the table, I mean, Aberdeen have dropped an unbelievable, from Aberdeen getting up to that point, having won every single one of their games. They've only won 1 game now in the last 5 matches, which has allowed the Rangers to close the gap slightly on Aberdeen. And let's just hope that they can find their form again and make sure that they extend that league, because Rangers are sitting 1 game better off than Aberdeen. And so if Rangers win their game in hand, it would take them 1 point above Aberdeen and push Aberdeen down to 3rd position. Aberdeen will be ruined the fact that they have dropped so many points. But was it the Celtic effect? Did Celtic get into their heads that much as a team and demoralise them, absolutely destroying them on that Hampden pitch with the delayed kickoff? I think if we can do it tomorrow and destroy the team in a similar manner, let's hope it has the exact same effect. Yes, let's hope it has the exact same effect, and it demoralises and disintegrates that team, and they call for the head of the manager, just like they usually do. And Barry Ferguson says that the Rangers are coming. Well, I don't think they will be. The 28th of May, 1888 says Casper, Arthur Johnson, Cameron Carter-Viskers, Trusty, Taylor, Kalmack, Bernardo, Engels, Kuhn, Maida, Kyogo. This should open up the game. I don't think Arne Engels will start. I've got a funny feeling that it'll go with Bernardo. Let's see the same score as well the last time we were at Hampden. If that does happen, Celtic will undoubtedly go down as the best team, not only in Scotland, but the best football and playing team in the country. And we did it in style. We will have done it in style. And I think that if we can do that tomorrow, and Brendan Rodgers will sit with the lads tonight in the hotel room, and they'll confidently be talking up their chances for the game tomorrow. Confidently talking up about the way that they performed the last time they were at the National Stadium. And Brendan Rodgers will tell them stories about how many times he's been to Hampden and how many times he's won and how many times it's taken a long late goal at Hampden. Don't expect it to be a wholesale fire rout the way it was with Aberdeen. I think that the game may be a bit tighter tomorrow, but ultimately what will always happen, and the way that it always happens with these games, Celtic will be able to ground out the result. They will be able to ground down the team, the opposing team, and by that time you could see the opposing team with their hands in their heads and Celtic just firing at will. And Brendan Rodgers will be telling the players that. He will be telling the players undoubtedly, if you get to the edge of the box and you don't see a pass, shoot. Just take aim and shoot. The more chances that you have to shoot, and he'll turn around and he'll look at Paulo Bernardo and he'll say, that guy ran from midfield at a cup final and shot from the edge of the box. We have the players to get into the box to get the second ball. If the keeper spills the ball, we've got a striker to get in there. We've got 2 wingers that will be in and around the box. We have players that can get forward at pace. If you get to the edge of the box, shoot, because that's when the damage can get done. Anyway, Carly says that she's never sleeping tonight. The game will definitely be won, but in the midfield tomorrow, you can bet your bottom dollar on it that they'll man-mark Callum McGregor, and they're trying to take Callum McGregor out of the game early on. Perry says 3-0, another day at the office for the boys. Yes, I think it'll be 3-0, but I think it'll be maybe 1-0 going in at half-time, or even 0-0 at half-time. Celtic to get the lead, and then 2 goals later on. I think that they'll open up towards the end of the game, or it could be something similar to what happened at Hampden before, and it could be that type of game that it takes until the last 10 minutes of the game for them to open up a bit, and then a Tom Rogic type goal late on, it'd be the same side. Anyway, Agribaz had to stop shooting in the last 5 minutes. Yep, try walking in the net, yeah, just shoot all day long. Anyway, Carly, she is going for 6-0 tomorrow. Aberdeen have crumbled since that whacking they have done. Mark Scott is going for 6-0 tomorrow. Tav will be waking up screaming tonight, having nightmares about a certain Celtic player. Yes, Dyson Maida. He's in your dreams. Anyway, thanks to everyone that has watched tonight. This afternoon, there's been over 1,100 people on the live. If Atati plays tomorrow, he needs to turn up for this game. He's been missing for a few games this season. Thomas says, Maida goes to sleep tonight dreaming happy thoughts long and wakes up happy camper tomorrow. Then goes in and batters Tav. Celtic will score early, says Paul Baird. Craig says, see you on Kaiser's channel chat around 2 a.m. because I won't sleep to that either. Paul Maguire says 2-0 Celtic. Alan Stevenson's going for 5-0 Celtic. Jim McClarty's going for 3-1 Celtic. Raymond says Celtic need to get back to one-touch football. Definitely. They definitely need to get back to one-touch football. Stuart Ramsey's just in the house as I'm getting ready to leave. And Mark Scott says Rangers will tire due to their European exploits and exertions after a nice rest. Wilson QW is going for 2-1, and Mark's going for 4-1. A late start, and then maybe they'll score first, but you never know. Gusty wins tomorrow. No bother, no pyro, but no Chris Boyd either, which is absolutely fantastic. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the